Hello and welcome to day 127. We've got 2 Samuel chapters 13 to 14 and Matthew 24. Just like I said previously, I want to warn you that this is a very difficult reading. So, especially if you struggle with issues of domestic violence, feel free to skip over this Samuel reading. We've got a terrible situation here of a case of incestual rape, a brother forcing himself on a sister. Now, as we go through the story of King David and his family, he's got multiple wives, multiple concubines. He has a very complicated family tree. And I have to say that whenever I hear people talking about wanting to return to biblical family values, I have to wonder just what biblical family values are they talking about? Because when we look through so many of the families in the Hebrew Bible, there's some very complicated family situations from some very dysfunctional family situations. And King David, as much as he had a heart that connected him to God, and much as he had moments of brilliance as a leader, and compassion as a king, there are definitely things that he did that set the stage for a lot of problems to come. So we have in today's reading a terrible tragedy to Tamar, a daughter of David, and there is vengeance by her brother Absalom trying to avenge her honor. We have a story of exile, we have return, but it all comes down to a level of violence in relationships, um, impertinence, uh, instant gratification, a lack of love and concern and compassion. And I have to say, a lot of people are like, what's the message of this? Why read this? This doesn't seem to have anything positive to bring. And I think what people have taken from this, one approach to taking these sections and studying them, is that people are messy, relationships are complicated, families are complicated. Now, we had read previously that David found forgiveness for the violence that he brought to Bathsheba because of Nathan the prophet coming to him and showing David the error of his ways. David showed remorse and turned away from that. But he brought violence into his family, and this continues. And so the choices we make are seen by our family members, are seen by others, and it continues on and it becomes part of the family legacy. So these are difficult passages to read, to struggle with, to try and understand. But I think one of the things that we can consider in our lives today is thinking about our own legacy. What is it that is the legacy in our family? What has been handed down to us? What are we handing down to those coming after us? What are the consequences of our decisions? Because David ends up living with the consequences of his choice with Bathsheba for a very long time. In Matthew 24, we have an interesting chapter here where Jesus is foretelling the fall of the temple, and he goes into a whole bunch of talking about end times, false prophets, going through tough times. And I think, again, this is a little bit of a challenging chapter to read through. And one of the main things that Jesus is getting at here is that no one knows the time when the Son of Man will return. No one knows. And I think today we've all seen on social media, on the computers, on National Enquirer, magazines at the checkout counter in years past, there are people who are false prophets today. There are people who claim they know that the end times are upon us. They know when Jesus is going to be returning. Jesus, through this passage, clearly has no patience for the people who are taking on this type of prophecy, this type of foretelling of the future. What Jesus is really emphasizing here is that he wants us to be following his way daily. We don't need to be worrying about the end times. Jesus is walking with us every day. We are walking with Jesus every day. It doesn't matter what's going on around us. It doesn't matter when time will come to an end. Jesus wants us to continue to be sharing the good news of Jesus with those around us, preaching the good news, staying faithful. And that's the job that Jesus gave us. That's what we should be focused on. We should not be hypocrites. So stay focused, walk alongside Jesus and don't worry about the false prophets that are trying to distract us from the way that Jesus has set before us. So hang on there with Jesus, and we'll see you tomorrow.